He kōna ipurangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
Hello, I'm Simon Morris, wrestling unsuccessfully with a cold. One of the best things about this job, or the worst thing depending on my mood, is how many times I find myself outside my comfort zone, where civilians can glance through the options available at their local cinemas and pick something they fancy. I often don't get that luxury. My mission, should I choose to accept it, is to check out 3 movies a week, no more, no less, and obviously they're not all ones I'd necessarily choose myself.
Don't worry! I'm gonna cushion our fall with this water bucket! Release!
In fact, most weeks, choice doesn't come into it. If there are only 3 movies out this week, those are the ones I go to. It may be yet another Jason Statham thriller. It may be 4 live-wire dames, once again led by Jane Fonda, or an impenetrable animated movie based on a TV series I've never heard of.
Help us, Ping. Only you can help us.
This is the son of the last Imperial Dragon. I have to protect it.
You're getting in the way of my destiny.
You can guarantee the phrases, "only you can save us" and "this is your destiny" will feature several times in those films. Still, beggars can't be choosers. And you never know when unexpected pleasures might occur in the least likely setting. A halfway decent actor, an interesting theme, intentional or otherwise.
Oh, God. Hey, Possum Ace.
Sorry, just you in that chair.
I think I would have made a damn fine president.
You would have brought a real dignity to the office.
You're welcome, America.
And above all, these 2 hours I'll never get back movies do require you to go somewhere fresh, somewhere you'd normally fear to tread. Actually, it's surprising how often that works out.
This could be our only ticket out of here. Should be in and out in 30 minutes.
Welcome to the Romulus Space Station.
A horror film with a bit extra, a romantic comedy that holds back on the sugar for a change, a brilliant performance from someone you'd not heard of. But that's the point. If I hadn't been forced to, would I have gone? Would you go to King of Kings, an expensive animated version of the greatest story ever told to Charles Dickens's son? Wait, what?
Our story begins 2,000 years ago when baby Jesus came into the world.
Wait, stop. If it's not about a king, then I'm not interested.
This story is about the King of Kings.
If you're with me, then I know that I will.
Yes, that is Sir Kenneth Branagh, who joined Pierce Brosnan, Uma Thurman, Oscar Isaac and a whole lot of other people with a spare afternoon to phone in a treat for Sunday schools around the world. And often me, of course.
A day may come when the courage of man fails. When we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day.
But as Viggo Mortensen so succinctly puts it, not this day. This week, there's choice. And I know I said it was great to go somewhere new for a change, but today I'm firmly in my comfort zone, thanks.
I want to face my wife's killers, look them in the eyes, and balance the scales.
Take it. There's The Amateur, a thriller about a CIA desk jockey who upskills to get revenge on the evildoers who killed his wife. That looks more than promising. There's popular comedian Steve Coogan's The Penguin Lessons. Would he stoop to a standard feel-good movie, or are there hidden depths?
Stop, sir. What is in your bag? Show me now. You can take him, but you must pay $50.
Sorry, little fella. Adios.
Okay, you can take him.
As I say, firmly in my comfort zone, but just because it's comfortable doesn't always guarantee a happy ending. Such was the experience of an Australian war journalist in The Correspondent.
We have spent most of our lives in some of the most dangerous places on the planet. But with you, there's nothing else. What are you running away from?
We're journalists. We're good at it.
His name is Peter Greste, and he was one of the crack team of international war correspondents working for news channel Al Jazeera. In December 2013, he was on a break when all hell broke out in Egypt. There was a coup, the people took to the streets in tens of thousands, and Al Jazeera needed a reporter fast, so Greste agreed.
Yesterday's massacres and trying to instigate a media blackout have infuriated the rest of the Egyptian people.
These protesters are making it very clear how willing they are to defy the government. Peter Greste, Al Jazeera.
Australian movie The Correspondent sticks carefully, as far as I can tell, to the facts. It's also very well made. Notable credit goes to director Kriv Stenders and editor Veronica Janet. And playing Peter Greste, for some reason everyone he deals with calls him Mr. Peter, is veteran Aussie star Richard Roxburgh.
Who is it? Mr. Peter? Yes. Who are you? Are you police? It's time to go.
Roxburgh's had such a long career as a useful co-star on film and TV that you often forget how good he can be. But in The Correspondent, there's no room for doubt. He is the movie, as we follow what happens to Greste after he's arrested for essentially doing his job.
And? Hi. Tell them we have to stay together.
Mr. Peter is locked up, along with two other Al Jazeera colleagues, by a government determined to close down any opposition at home and, more important, overseas. They're selling the idea that the media are in league with the hated Muslim Brotherhood, and any journalist saying otherwise must be terrorists.
Peter Greste. And Peter Greste.
Charged with aiding a terrorist group.
You know what's going on here.
We're pawns in a political game.
Push a goal.
There must be some confusion. I'm just a journalist.
Peter is shocked. Throughout a long career, he's always assumed he's protected by his journalist status. And this isn't some tin pot dictatorship in the back of beyond. This is Egypt at the height of the Arab Spring, when it seemed everyone was marching inexorably towards democracy, justice, and the rule of law.
Hello, sir. This whole world's bloody insane.
Dad, you're not helping.
Al Jazeera is a terrorist organization, and these are their agents.
But as recent events have proved, there are no guarantees anywhere in the world. Justice, even in the best of places, is whatever the government says it is. Peter realises this case was never about whether he was a terrorist. How do you prove you're not? This is a war against the unfettered media in general. And to do that, they need to drive a wedge between Peter and his two Arab colleagues.
My lawyers told my family that you can be bought cheaply because you have no moral allegiances.
I need to know what you said in your statement.
They know where I live. They know I have a child. Just wanted to go home.
It's an easy story to reduce to convenient melodrama, noble journalists versus corrupt foreign military maybe, but it's more complex than that. The Correspondent tells the story carefully and meticulously, so that each twist is driven home as powerfully as it must have been for the real-life Peter Greste.
Killed 7 years.
The only way through this is to make a case to the world.
Now is the time for pressure.
The obvious comparison is with another jail story set in the Near East, Midnight Express. But where Billy Hayes was caught banged to rights for smuggling drugs, Peter Greste is jailed on a trumped-up charge with therefore no defence, apart from public outcry, which he finally turns to.
I'm nervous as I write this. I've been caught in the middle of a multi-headed political struggle. So our arrest here is not a mistake.
His case is picked up all over the world, and the pressure is put on the Egyptian authorities. But again, as we're seeing right now, authorities don't often take kindly to being shown up in a bad light, particularly when the bad light is really the only one there is.
Your letter was very good. There'll be repercussions.
Your voice is becoming an echo chamber in the West.
To the Correspondent's great credit, I loved it by the way, it doesn't seem to be preaching. This is what happened to this man and it's all true. But at the end, it makes its real point. This is happening to journalists, to journalism all over the world. 1,700 journalists have been killed worldwide just for doing their job. In 2023 alone, 779 journalists were jailed in 45 countries. And we take the people doing this dangerous work for granted at our peril.
I can no longer pretend it'll go away by keeping quiet.
We will never give up.
As a journalist, this is my battle.
The highlight of a new spy thriller called The Amateur is undoubtedly the trailer. It looks terrific, particularly the bad guys splashing about in a disintegrating swimming pool a few hundred feet above a city street. Woo-hoo!
This is a remote that controls a device that's been decompressing the glass beneath you.
You have the wrong person.
No, I have exactly the right person.
It's also directed by James Hawes, the guy who made the first great series of Slow Horses. The Amateur is a remake of a moderately successful 80s thriller at the height of the craze for revenge shoot-'em-ups like Dirty Harry, Death Wish and the like. The star now is Rami Malek, still best known as Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody.
You ever wonder what they do with all the stuff you dig up for them?
That's not my job.
No, but you never wonder?
No, it's the CIA. I gotta trust that they'll make the right call. Maybe it's better not to know.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Rami always seems to be a bit dentally challenged, which comes back to bite him, later in the movie. He plays Charlie, a backroom boffin for the CIA and a wizard at the keyboard. His lovely wife Sarah teases him for being such a stick in the mud as she takes off to go shopping. She seems so full of life. Then...
Charlie, I think you need to see this.
What is this?
Your wife has been killed.
Charlie gets the bad news from his boss. Sarah was taken hostage by a quartet of terrorists, or bank robbers, it's not completely clear, and in the confusion, she's killed. Charlie can't help noticing that the CIA doesn't seem to be in any hurry to catch the bad guys.
What you do is very important to what we do. Let us handle this.
I want mission-specific training, cash, and a new identity.
Have you lost your mind?
So he tells them he'll do it himself. He's already identified their names and addresses. Did I mention he's a computer whiz with almost superhuman abilities? Still, it might take a little longer for Charlie to pass the physical for a 4-part revenge mission.
I want to find and kill the people who murdered my wife.
I don't think you could beat a 90-year-old nun in an arm wrestling match.
Well, that's a relief. The way it was going, I thought all it would take to train him up would be a well-staged montage. The Amateur may be routine in many ways, but it's not that lazy. Enter Charlie's trainer, Hendo, Lawrence Fishburne, predictably, who gives Charlie a reality check in point-blank justice.
Take it.
Take it. Aye. Point it at my chest. Do it now.
Put your finger on the trigger. You can't do what I do no matter how much I train you. You're just not a killer, Charlie.
But while Charlie may not be a natural face-to-face equalizer, he has, as they keep pointing out, that invaluable, unique set of skills. Are they unique? Every spy troop in the world, even the Slow Horses, always has a tame computer nerd on standby doing miracle shortcuts on his laptop.
You're just a nerdy fellow that works on computers. What you doing? Just gonna kill you.
Do you ever account for the things I'm good at?
An interesting trajectory, if you're looking for anything as elaborate as a trajectory in The Amateur, is how increasingly hands-on he becomes with each assassination. The first one is pretty much an accident, nothing to do with him. The next time he's slightly involved, and the one after that even more so. And each time he gets closer to Mr. Apparently Big.
¿Algún problema?
Tell me where to find Horst Schiller.
Who are you?
You held a gun to my wife's head. She was terrified.
I know, it seems a cruel trick to play on Rami Malek, asking him to say Horst Schiller. Anyway, as always in a film like this, each killing brings with it a new clue, and each clue leads to... Well, remember The Amateur was originally made in the paranoid 80s. Back then, all plots led all the way to the top.
Where is he now?
He's in the stairwell, 3 floors above. Head towards the basement. There's an exit in the back.
I know, what's changed? But at least back in the 80s, there was a good chance the bad guys would be closed down. I'm not sure we'd buy that so readily now with so much evidence to the contrary.
Shit. There's another one, already in the basement. He's coming towards you.
Which way?
Left. Go left.
Despite the publicity, The Amateur is pretty ho-hum, I suppose, but a good trailer has one obvious advantage. It only has to look snappy for a couple of minutes. Rami Malek proves not to be the next action hero, and everyone else does what they're told and thinks of payday.
We got a ping in Rome.
He's in London.
He just got on a bus in Prague.
He practically invented half of our surveillance.
Maybe y'all misjudged this individual.
With one exception. Tucked away in a little cameo as a florist with the best line in the film, "That's a big bouquet, you must have been really bad," is the still glamorous Martha Keller, who starred in the 1981 Amateur. She clearly had a lovely time.
You recognize her?
If you jump really fast, you might survive the blast.
Wait!
The Penguin Lessons is not a film you want to take on face value. Steve Coogan or not, it looks like it's about a man and his lovable penguin. I know we all love penguins, but is that enough to sustain an entire movie? However, as the real-life teacher Tom Michel tells his class in 70s Argentina, it's a metaphor. Even if, as headmaster Jonathan Price points out, it's not a very good one.
Welcome to Buenos Aires. Anything to declare?
No.
Stop, sir. What is in your bag? Show me now.
It's the story of Tom getting a job teaching English at an exclusive school at Buenos Aires at the precise moment a military coup is about to take place. But Tom isn't interested in politics or anything else much. When the school is closed down during the military takeover, for him, it's just an excuse for a holiday.
Argentina's in chaos. A military coup is imminent.
College is shut for a week and is very serious.
We got a week off. I might go to Uruguay. Go dancing, maybe meet a couple of ladies.
But dancing with ladies has unexpected consequences. Tom and a would-be girlfriend find some victims of an oil spill on the beach. One of these penguins is still alive, so Tom cleans him up, only to find his conspicuous nobility has inspired his friend to go back to her husband.
Where is he from? Is he your pet?
I rescued him from an oil slick, and now he thinks he's my friend, but he's not my friend.
Why did you save his life?
I was trying to impress a woman I wanted to sleep with.
So, no girl for the night, instead a penguin, seemingly forever. Tom tries to get rid of it. The last thing he wants is a penguin. And surely it's against the rules to have a penguin at school. But the meaner he is to the penguin, the keener his new best friend becomes.
Go and be free in the sea.
I know, something about imprinting, but then Tom imprints himself when he names his penguin. Juan Salvador it is. And for the first time in Tom's brief tenure as English teacher at St. George's, his class starts paying attention, to Juan Salvador at least.
If you keep this between ourselves, I'll let you all feed him some fish. Deal? Yes, he's okay with that.
They like the penguin likes them. They get more interested. As I say, it's a metaphor and not the last one. Out in the real non-penguin world, politics has made life real and dangerous, particularly if you feel like standing up to the new government. Tom feels nervous for the safety of his new friend, the housemaid Sophia.
What is he doing here?
I have to take him to a zoo.
Why do you want to lock him up?
Just obeying the rules.
And you always obey the rules.
Once again, we're led to believe that Tom may find love in the penguin lessons. Sophia is clearly smarter and nicer than he is, and is interested in what happened to him to make him so cut off from the world. Was there a third woman before this?
I used to be young and idealistic like you, but I lost something. And I was scared. Life changes you.
Then I look forward to being all cynical.
But as the film title states, clearly not a metaphor, it's not some woman who's going to be handing out valuable life lessons in this film. Sophia is disappeared by the secret police, the euphemism for what happened to tens of thousands of Argentinian dissidents, and Tom has only one confidant to turn to.
What do you think?
Everyone is looking for something. What are you looking for?
I want to make a difference.
Like so many animal-based films, it's Tom's pet who manages to bring the human out of him. And with humanity thin on the ground in Argentina, soon everyone starts confiding in Juan Salvador, from the scholastically challenged kids in Tom's class all the way up to the headmaster.
You think he's listening to us? They're very sensitive.
Think of Juan Salvador, the wide ocean before him, going wherever the wind takes him. Any ideas?
He is aware. He owes his life to you.
¿Qué lleva en la bolsa?
No es comunista, este pingüino.
The Penguin Lessons is, on paper, bog-standard feel-good 101, I know, but it's more than that and better than that. And partly that's down to Steve Coogan, often underestimated as an actor because he's such a good comedian. Partly it's a smart script, lightly improving on Tom Michel's memoir.
I had you as a head-down sort of fella. What happened to you?
I met a penguin.
And partly because the unique blend, feel-good penguin movie, teen-type school story, fascist dictatorship, is both unusual and successful. Special sauce, of course, is Steve Coogan's deadpan humour, best timing in the business, matched only by his penguin.
You have a penguin in there?
A penguin?
A penguin.
Yes.
The great thing about penguins is they always look dressed for the part, the Fred Astaire's of the bird kingdom, which brings this episode to a fairly croaky close. I'm Simon Morris, and At the Movies will be back same time next week.